Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to our latest project. Today we are starting work with Stamperia Romantic Collection Journal. This is a beautiful collection and we're going to do something, a few things a little different with this one. In particular, we're going to try and make it not last forever in, 7 or 10 hour long videos. But in looking at this one, I really did think it might make a good journal, something you could do more journaling in as opposed to just hold pictures or look at the pretty paper. So we're kind of going to work towards that end. No guarantee we're going to make it there, but we're going to try. So this is, by the way, a design project for Scrap and Create, and you can get all your supplies there. I will have shown you the walkthrough, but at this point, I know I will be using at least one 12x12 and one 8x8. Likely it'll be 2 and 2. That's what I have. I have 2 and 2. So let's get started. And for a change, I'm starting with the cover because I'm doing it a little differently. And normally I just direct you to a video that I have on how to make covers. But since this one's going to be different, I want to show you. You will have a cutting guide. It will be linked down below, so go ahead and get that. And I'm just gathering a couple things. Okay, so what I have here are 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5.5 by 7.5. Those are our covers. I have a piece of cardstock that is about 15 3/8 long. Give or take, it should be between 15 3/8, 15.5. And you can see it's just a 12-inch piece with a 3.5-inch piece attached to it. Okay, so there's that. And then I have 2 pieces of Tyvek that are 4 by 7.5. Now, Tyvek, you can buy it on Amazon, which is where I get mine. The post office uses it for envelopes, so if you get something, or FedEx I think does too, so if you get something in the mail, save it. It's also house wrap, so you might find it at Home Depot, or if you know somebody who works in construction, they might be able to bring you some. Okay, so we have our piece that's, what did I say? Just 15 and about 3/8, right? 15 3/8. These are 7.5. It should be 9.5 inches tall. I wasn't thinking, and I made mine only 9, so I'm only going to have 3/4 top and bottom. It'll be fine. So what I need to do is put my 3/4 inch mark. And again, you can be a little bit off. It's not that big a deal, but you do want it to be as straight across the bottom as you can. So that's going to go like that, okay? And then this one is going to be the same on that side. Notice I don't have a spine piece because we're making a soft spine, which you will have seen in the walkthrough. And what I want to do is center a piece of Tyvek on the cover before I put my spine pieces down because they're going to rest on top of it. So what I need to do, I don't really want to eyeball it because I don't want it hanging out top or bottom. It's not a big deal if it does, but oops. All right, so I'm just putting the 3/4 mark on this ruler. Whoops. Any transparent ruler will work. If you've got the Tim Holtz, that's fine. So I'm just doing this to give myself an idea where I need to be. And I don't know if you can see it, but I have a center mark as well here. And my center mark is at, so you know, just shy of 8.5. I mean 7.5. There, just shy of 7 3/4. So I'm just going to make another one here. Right there. Okay. So what I need to do is put this piece of Tyvek just right about like that. Okay, and of course you're going to have an inch top and bottom where I have 3/4. And I would like to use score tape for this, and I don't have much, but I have some little sort of scrappy pieces. I can probably put together something. Or I can just use my 3/8. Maybe that would be easiest. Alright, so let me go ahead and put some tape on this. I've done these covers with the soft spine a lot on camera anyway, on my very tiny albums, the really little ones. I know I've done it on albums, but I don't know as I've used it in a tutorial before, so this may be something new for us. Alright, so there's my center line, there's my 3/4. That should be fine, right about there. You don't need to be too fussy about this. I mean, as long as it's not too far up and down and both sides are covered by your chipboard, you'll be fine. Okay, that last one doesn't want to come off. There we go. And let's roll that down into place. Okay, perfect. Yes, it does not look terribly straight, but it's fine. And you can see I had to use all kinds of scraps to put this together. So what I am going to do now is put I have a tool to pick this stuff up. I don't know why I don't use it. Okay, so this needs to be 1 inch in and 3/4 of an inch up, give or take. And we want it to be straight. That does not look straight. No, that's as straight as it's going to get. Okay. And then, because I'm not sure that my paper is exact side to side, I need 2 1/4 inches between this piece and the next piece. So I'm just going to measure it this way rather than coming from over there. So I have my ruler is running along the bottom of this one to make sure things are straight. I've got one of the inch lines lined up with the edge, and I need to go 2 1/4 over. I'm going to do this the other way. Hang on. I want the factory edge to be there. And place down the second one. And I'm just trying to hold that down so it doesn't slide under it, which is what it's trying to do. There we go. 2 1/4. 2 1/4. I think that was 2 1/4. Yeah, it's a little. No, it's fine. Okay, 2 1/4. Okay, and you'll notice I've got a little bit of a mess there because I used a wet baby wipe, but this will all be covered with matting, so it'll be fine. Okay, now before we fold, we need to add a second piece of Tyvek on the inside. I don't do that on my tiny, tiny albums, but I like to do it on the bigger ones because it is going to be holding some weight. So, what I want to do, I'm going to use my tape. We are going to use our tape. You don't want to go past the Tyvek, and put tape on this piece of Tyvek. I'm going to put a piece on the edge of the chipboard. This is going to go there, and so I want one piece on each, 1/3 on each side of the Tyvek. All of this is going to be hidden, so yeah, you just want to get it pretty much where it needs to be, but you don't have to obsess over it. Okay, then to burnish that really well. Burnish the center part first, and I like to use this part of the tool to make sure we're really in there. That. Over. Find that edge. Just give it a burnish. You don't have to burnish it quite so much as a traditional type cover. At least not on the outside. I like to really give the outside a good burnish on a traditional cover. You can see it's a little curvy. That's fine. That'll flatten out I mean, it's never going to be flat like another type of spine, but perfect. Okay, now we just need to wrap this just like any other cover. I am using, by the way, brown cardstock, and the reason I'm using brown is it's the only color I have. And it looks nice, but I think I would have preferred craft with this album, but I didn't have any, so this is what I'm using. I'm trying to put off buying any for a little bit. I had to visit the hospital a couple of times last month. Nothing serious, but I'm fine. That means money's tight. Oh, I probably should have taped that before I did that. Go ahead and tape. I don't usually make my covers first. I used to always make my covers first, but in this case I decided to go ahead and get it out of the way since it was a little different. And I knew that I was not going to be adding a lot of extra embellishment on the inside. And what I'm doing here is I'm bringing the tape up to the end there and breaking it. And then I'll use a separate piece for here and then there. Just keeps your flexibility a little better, I think. Out of the way here. Okay. And just angle this tape awkwardly. Okay. You burnish your tape. You always want to burnish your tape. Okay. I'm kind of glad to be doing this today. My original plan for today is to go to Orlando with my sister and brother-in-law, but it is supposed to be 93 degrees with 90-degree humidity today, and I just did not feel like walking around theme parks today, so I didn't go. I always like to start in the middle, work my way out. That's good. Just checking, I want to make sure I didn't have any cracking. I don't usually, but I looked for a second like I did, but I think it was just the light. Again, center first, and then out. Hang on, I forgot to take this tape off. I'm like, why is it not sticking? It's sticking because it's still got the tape backing on it. Let's try that again. Well, that's better. Okay. Oh, yikes. I didn't tuck in my corners. Well, it's fine. All right. How are those corners? They're not bad. Okay. Just tucking these corners in. That's what I was talking about. You get a neater corner if you do that. And I didn't realize that was going to stick quite so abruptly. Okay, there we go. And if you do get a little bit, you can just sort of bend it down. There we go. All right, so there is our cover. And we are going to, it'll have a liner, like none of that obviously is going to be seen. Perfect. Okay. Next step. Pages. Let me get rid of these. Now, your cutting guide will give you all these measurements, and the cutting guide is free. Just go and get it. There's a link down below. Okay. Now, I don't want this giant ruler. I only had that out for the cover. And what did I do with my regular blue ruler, though? I do want that. Well, it's here somewhere. I'll use this one for now. Okay, so you're going to need 4 pieces. And I want you to do, these are all 7 inches tall, okay? Cut from 4 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, 7-inch piece. So you have 7 by 12. Set aside the 5-inch by 12-inch pieces. You're going to need them later. Okay, so now you have 4 7 by 12 pieces. Okay, you want to cut the first one down to 10 1/4. The second one you want to cut down to 10 3/4. The third one you want to cut down to 11 1/4. And the last one to 11 3/4. Okay? Then, let's get these back in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Take the first one, the smallest one, put it in your scoreboard, score it at 5 inches, turn it and score it at 5 inches. Okay? I know you could score it at 5 and then at 5 1/4, but I think you're going to get more accuracy if you do it the way I just said. So 5, rotate it, 5 1/4. Okay. Take the second one, score it at 5 and 5 1/4, turn it and score it at 5 and 5 1/4. Okay. I should have all this in the cutting guide. The third one, put it on the cutting board, score it at 5 and 5 1/4, turn it, score it at 5 and 5 1/4, and the last one the same. 5 and 5 1/4, turn, 5 and 5 1/4. If you've done a stack the deck binding, this is very similar, except that we have extended it out so that we are doing all of our pages. Okay, there's those. Now, I think I'm going to put them together and we'll decide on pockets and things after. So you want to turn them over so that you have the bumps up. You've scored it. I'm going to fold it, line up the edge best you can, and burnish it down. Okay. So now that, take the other side, fold it, line up the edge, and burnish. Okay. So now you have something that looks like that. Okay? Now, that's the first one. The second one, you're going to fold up on the outer edges, the outer score, and don't do anything with the inner ones. So, I'm going to fold, line up the edge, burnish. Turn around, fold, line up that edge, and burnish. Okay, so now you have one that looks like this. Okay, let's do the same. And you're always going to have the bumps up. You're going to fold only on the outer score line. Line up your edge. Okay, and you'll notice these are getting progressively wider as we go along. Okay. And there we go. Now, open these up. I'm going to start with the smallest one because it's easier to do that way. These are all going to stack one on top of the other, like this. Okay. So let's take the first two. Now you can use tape for this, but for this I prefer to use glue. Mostly I use tape. I mean, I like tape a lot, and I use tape when I'm demonstrating because it is quicker. However, in this case, I want to use glue. Now you have those extra two score lines right down the middle, and those are your guides for where to place the next piece. So I'm putting a little bead of glue right down that, and I'm actually spreading it a little. I went a little wide with spreading it. You don't really want it to stick out like mine does, but I did. And we're going to line this up so that the score lines on this piece match those score lines, and my edges are straight along the top and the bottom. That's good. Okay. I'm just gonna get my just want to get that extra glue. See, my baby wipe is still a little damp. Okay, so now we have an assembly with 4 pages. Okay, take the next piece and do the same thing. Put the glue between your 2 inner score lines. Don't put too much glue. You really don't want seepage. I had a little on that last one, but not too much. I always use too much glue. It's kind of my thing that I always do wrong. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing and and center this right using those inner score lines as a guide. Make sure it's lined up across the top. If everything's square and you line it up on one side, it should line up on the other. Famous last words, but it did. Okay. We're doing a lot of pages in this book because we're not doing a lot of embellishment, and because it is kind of a journal. I want lots of places to write or put, memory pieces or small photos, things like that. Okay, there we go. You can stop here if you want, but we're going to add one more. And we've already made a cover for this one, so technically if you make the cover you can't stop. Okay, so I'm having trouble seeing the line here. Again, we're keeping our glue between those inner score lines. And you can use tape if you want, but I feel like for this situation, I prefer to use glue. And this one is a little trickier because it's bigger, but it's just the same. Use the score lines. Don't press anything down until you're sure it's where you want it. I feel like it's just here. Let's see here. The last one is just a hair out of whack, but only a tiny bit, and it won't really show in the end because that part's going to be glued down. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so there are all of our pages. Let's give them a good burnish down. Okay, good. So then they're going to go in here, but before they do, we need a liner for here. So I'm going to do a full liner on this one. I just think it would look better. So that needs to be, I'm spinning, I hate this ruler. I really want my good ruler, but I have no idea what I did with it. I had it a few minutes ago. Put it down somewhere. Okay, I'm whining. 7 1/4. Let's go 7 1/4. All right, so 7 1/4 by my long ruler. Well, it's going to have to be by 12 because that's as big as I can go. So 7 1/4 by 12. Yeah, okay. Trying to decide how I want to put this down. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I wish I had more score tape. I do need to order that. I have some actually. I did order some. It just hasn't come yet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is put tape on here just in about the center 4 inches. Or maybe I'll just put it on here. Then I'll know for sure that's where it is. That's what I'll do. And I'm not going full height. I'm just going a little bit onto the brown wrap. Just trimming some of these that I made a little long. Okay. Mess of those scissors. And up here, if there's a little gap between the tape, it's fine. But here I don't want a gap, and I have one, so I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to fix that by just adding a second piece. Aside for a second, and let's glue this. I didn't put the lid back on my glue, so I did that. There we go. These out of the way. You know what? Even though I just said I always put too much glue, that spot right there doesn't have very much. Okay. That up. Let's bring this over. Center it top to bottom, side to side as best you can. Don't fuss too much, it's really not going to show. Looks pretty good. Put the center down first because it's really going to stick where that tape is. So get that down, get that burnished. I'd rather have my smaller tool, and then sort of work your way out from there. Don't worry if you get some seepage like I did, because I always use too much glue. It's going to be covered, or just use less glue. I had a dry baby wipe. I'm using a wet one, I know, because I was too anxious to get to work today to wait for it to dry. Make sure you don't have any loose spots or bubbles. And you can see by the time we add all these layers that even without a piece of chipboard, it still makes a nice spine, a very nice spine. I don't know why I don't do this more often, because I do like it. I wouldn't use it on anything much bigger than this though. Especially I wouldn't use it if you were planning on adding tons and tons of stuff into the book to make really heavy, heavy pages. Although you could do the spine this way, but I wouldn't do the pages this way. Okay, good. That's good, and we can burnish from this side. And there we go. All right. So then the next step is to attach. What on earth have I got there? Did I put it down on something? Looks like I put it down on a spot on my board. cleaning it up a little bit. Okay. All right, and then this gets attached in here with about a 1/4 inch on either side. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do that now or if I want to do these pages somewhat first. And I feel like I want to do these first. I think it'll be easier if we do it outside the book. So let me get rid of some of this stuff. And one thing I did is I went through and just cut a few things. That's all I cut. I guess I only did cut 3 things. I thought I cut more, but that's all I see. This was from the 8x8, and I thought it would be adorable on a page to just put some little tiny photos for memory keeping. And then I tried to pick out things that would be good to write on from the 12x12 because I felt like the line separation on the 12x12 was good for writing. So I picked those 2, and that's the backs. And then this one was from this sheet, and I thought I would probably use maybe not the side with the lines, but the other side as a decorative piece. So there's those. And then the other thing I did, let me grab it if I can find it, is I took the, let me sit down so you can hear me. We had those 5-inch pieces left over from making the pages. Remember I told you to set them aside? And I cut 4 of them. There are 4 of them. And I cut all 4 of them to an 8-inch length. I don't know if we're going to need all 4, so you may want to just start with 2. And made pockets out of them. So they're 5x8 scored at a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Because I don't want too many pockets and things, but I wanted some. So I've got those. And I did know that I want, I'm trying to decide which, I think I'm going to make that the top. I did want to put a pocket here. I'm just wondering how easy this is going to be to do from out here. Should be fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. That's going to be the last page. Scissors there. So I'm just trimming my corners. We have 16 pages, and many of them are just going to be plain mats or simple flaps for journaling. We're not, like I said, we're not doing a lot of complex stuff here. We're making a journal to write in and do some memory keeping in. Okay, there we go. And we want this on this page. I think the easiest way to do that is going to be to open it up flat. I'm just checking it for height. I probably should have done that before I folded everything, but it's fine. Okay. Now, if you were using craft for your base, which I recommend, you might want to ink. Not really sure, not having seen it with the paper, but everything's a little shabby, so you might want to ink. With the brown that I'm using, that's not an issue. Okay. So I'm going to put this down on this now. Hang on, I just want to. All right, so it goes like this. This is the back, okay? So I'm just turned it over, so this is where I'm putting it, and I am going to put it away from that fold line just a hair, just the way we always do with these kind of things. just lining it up. You probably can't see. I lined it up down there, and then I've lined it up here. And I'm just do this down where you can get a little, I'm just picking it up a little bit so you can see. Okay. Like, do I have some tape stuck? No. There we go. Okay. So when you lay it out like this, the back side up, the pocket is here. And then when we put it in the book, it's going to be right there. Okay? The front page, I know I don't want anything. What I was thinking I might do, and I can use one of these extra pockets, I'm just going to cut the side tabs off, is do a flap, just almost a full flap. Maybe you're going to journal something you want to keep a little more private, so you want something to cover it. So let me cut this down to 7 by just cutting off these 2 tabs that I don't need anymore. I'm put this one to the outside so it opens like that. Okay. And you can do matting as well before you put these in. Probably should, but I'm having too much fun to stop. Okay. So I am just going to line this up. Just line that up with that top edge. Good. Okay. And let's go ahead and magnet that. That's going to be pretty like that. We're going to want to mount that in something that looks continuous, probably. Grab a magnet. This is a small book, so we only need to use a single pair of magnets. That's a relatively small book. It's not super small. There, I think. I always try to throw away the back of the tape as quickly as I can because my cats, for whatever reason, love it and they chew it, and I'm always afraid they're going to swallow it or swallow a piece of it. So I take it and I put it in the trash. So the other day, I was on the other side of the room working. I have another desk over there. And I heard a noise, and I turned around, and Holly was up on her back legs, poking around in the trash, trying to find one. we want that to be continuous, it's going to have to be from one of the 12 by 12s, right? I have to remember that. Okay. So that's our inside front cover. No, it's not. It's the inside of page 1. And then that's that. Okay, great. I'm going to leave that plain. I know I want to leave these two plain. So let's put a pocket here. We have one. And I think I'm going to cut this one shorter. Let's cut this one down. Oh, there's my ruler that I've been looking for all the time, right in front of my nose. So much easier for me to see with this one. All right, so this is currently 5, so it's finishing at a 4.5 inch pocket. Let's cut it 4, so it finishes at 3.5. So I'm just cutting this down to 4 inches. This here, and again we're going to put it up a little bit from that fold because we don't want to interfere with our hinge. Pulling the tape back a little bit. I'll pick it up. I'll put it back in a minute where you can see it. Okay. Good. All right. So we're opening. We have our flap that's held by a magnet. Right now, a couple of plain pages, a pocket, plain page. These are I want to keep, I think, plain because they're the center spread. One thing I'm thinking, let's see, we have quite a ways because we have 16 pages to work with, front and back. I'm going to grab the 12 by 12. Hang on. 12 by 12 has this sheet, which has 4 by 4 like tiles on it, or cut parts. And I kind of like that you can, do something on the back of those. But I think I might do a flap to accommodate just one. Or even 2. Let's take a look. So those are 4 by 4. So let's see. That's the center. I don't want it there. Right there. Okay. So suppose we did like one up here and one down here. That's still, they'd open, you'd still have full pages. Look at that glue seepage. Be more careful than me with your glue, please. Okay, so for that, we're going to need, let's see, I want 4... because we need room for the, a reveal on the mat. So these are going to be the mats. I just want to double check. They should be 4 by 4. They're on a 12 by 12. Yeah, 4 by 4. So let's make it 4 1/8 tall, and then 4 5/8 wide to accommodate for the flap. So 4 1/8 by 4 5/8, and I need 2 of those. Okay. Go ahead and score these. So we have the 4 5/8 across the top, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Whoops. Trim on my corners. So we're going to put one here and one up there. I put it up, lined it up right up with the edge, but I brought it up about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, and I'll bring it down about 1/4 inch from the top on this side. And magnets. those. All right. So where are we at? So we have a plain page to start. I have a plain page here, flap, 2 plain pages here, pocket here, plain page, 2 more plain pages, 2 flaps, plain pages, and a pocket. Okay, so I think we need a couple more things. I don't want too many though, because we want to be able to write. Maybe a vertical flap. I still have this other pocket. So what I'm going to do with this, that I accidentally cut the wrong. All right, so I'm going to cut from this pocket that I made out of the 8x5. I'm going to cut one side. I'm going to cut this long side tab off and the bottom off, maybe a little higher. So I'm going to cut it 7.5. I'm going to cut it down to 7, so because I like a little of the background to show. So I'm going to cut it vertically to 7, and then I'll cut that side tab off, so it's 4.5. So it's not going to be the full width of the page, I think. Yeah, 4.5. So I'm going to 4.5 by 7. All this will be in your cutting board. And then I think that we should round those. I'm just going to do a 1/4 inch. And make sure I've got the right, yeah. Okay, so I'll center that on the top of this page, which is about a 1/4 inch on either side. Oh, God, wait a minute. I want to cut my corners. I have got these scissors so gummy, I need to clean them up. Turning it upside down to make it a little easier to line it up because I can't really see it too well. That's better. There. Okay, and we're going to want magnets there as well. Perfect. Right. There it is. For the other magnet. Go. All right. we are making good progress. How long have I been recording? An hour and 15 minutes, okay. All right, let's see where we're at. This may be a good stopping point. I think we should do one thing here on one of these pages. I'm just wondering, should we do another? Should we do another flap? Like that? Kind of echo what we've got here. Just do the same thing here. Flap here. I think we should. That would be great. Okay. And I think I used up all my pockets that I made. So I need to double check myself here. I need a piece 5 by 7. Okay, let's do that. If you're a beginner, this would be a good one for you because we're not doing anything tricky at all here. But it's going to be really pretty when it's done, I promise. So we want to go to the last one. That's where we have that pocket. And we're going to put this here. Checking it for size. Just double check that. Okay. I know I'm pulling it off camera. I'll put it back, I promise. Okay. Just lined up that top edge. Lining up the bottom edge. Sure it looks good along the sides. And magnets again. Small album, we're using a fair number. I have got to clean my mat. It is looking so goopy. Maybe I'll do that while we're taking a break. Okay. Tag here to get. Keep trying to pick up my tape tear instead of my tape. That. That's that. Okay. There we go. We've got all of our elements in place, unless we decide last minute to add something. And I think I'm going to leave it out of the book still because it'll probably be easier to do some of these mats while it's out of the book. So what am I doing? We're over an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and stop now. And in the next one, hopefully we'll finish. We'll see. It may take 2 more, but no more than that. All right, so I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to get your cutting down guide linked down below. And visit Scrap and Create to pick up your supplies. I am definitely using a full, well, I will have told you in the walkthrough, but right now I'm using one 8x8, one 12x12, but I anticipate that I will be, with 16 pages, pretty sure I'll be using 2 and 2, which is what I have. So I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.